Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your bonus reading. We are going to do a past, present, future reading and outcome. This reading is also going to have a theme, and the theme of the reading is going to be going forward. So clearly, Sagittarius is moving into the future. In your past position, you have this Spirit World card. It says your spirit guides are sending you helpful people and opportunities your way. You have the scarab spirit. It says what appears unusable may still have great value if you look deeper. So I kind of feel that actually, the funny thing I'm getting here, Sagittarius, is maybe this isn't going to be very funny for you, but I kind of feel like the universe has actually sent you unhelpful people. I think the universe has sent you people that were a little bit of a challenge at points or at times in your past. But even though they weren't helpful in the past, I feel like they are helpful in the future. And I'm not talking about like they're going to come and help you, but I think the lessons that you learned from those people, again, this card here says what appears unusable may still have great value if you look deeper. So it's almost like those people were sent to be a challenge, but they were also meant to teach you something that is helping you now, like in the future. So I do feel pretty good about that, actually. You have the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. I feel really good about this, actually. This first row is going to be your past position. And remember, the theme of this reading is going forward. So this card, there's like sun is coming up at the end of this path. So a lot of you are like being led towards the light. And the Eight of Cups is dark. The Eight of Cups is, it's a full moon. This card is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it as well. But the Eight of Cups represents not settling. It represents walking away from something, these 8 cups, that no longer serve you. But you have the Ten of Pentacles right below it. And, what the reading is saying to me intuitively is that I feel some of you realize, or are like now you realize that to have the Ten of Pentacles right here, that there are things that you can't bring with you. There might be like habits, people, places, things, belief systems, pretty much everything. And I feel this is very good, is what I'm trying to spit out here, Sagittarius, like this realization that I feel like you could be having with the Ten of Pentacles. Because it's like you realize that there are some changes that need to be made because to align with this energy of this card, you have to make those changes. And that's really the feeling I get here off of this card is that, Eight of Cups, you're eclipsing things out of your life that no longer serve you. And you're also kind of removing things that don't align with this vision. I always say Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in life, but it's, it's building, leaving a legacy. It's not something that just magically happens overnight. It's something that you work towards for a long time. So for the most part, usually the Ten of Pentacles is something that we see. We can see the vision. We understand like what we want. And then all we have to do is cut the bad things out. But also we have to adopt the good habits, the good belief systems, the good activities, everything that goes into this. And I kind of feel like that's what you're doing with the Ten of Pentacles. You have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords can be rushing or being too hasty. Now, this is coming up in your past position. So, sure, maybe in the past you tried to rush things or tried to force things to work. That's more of the energy that I get here because if we look at the rest of the reading, there's a much nicer flow to the rest of the reading. You have the Four of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Cups is a card of flow. You have the Queen of Wands. The thing about the Queen of Wands is that she is willing to learn as she goes. So she's not trying to force something to work a certain way. If she starts a journey to build something in her life, she allows it to work. And that might mean that she has to make some changes or, she might have to, change her direction at times or learn something new. And it's coming up right next to the Knight of Swords. So I feel that in a lot of ways, you are changing your energy to be more like the Queen of Wands, to be willing to learn as you go, to be, just down for the adventure. And I feel like that is great for you here, Sag. With the Eight of Cups, yes, you have the Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores. Eight of Cups, you literally could say you're walking away from anything that makes your life not calm, and you are removing things that kind of slow you down. The woman and this child in this boat, they are moving on to calmer shores for the hopes of a brighter future. And so whatever you're walking away from, it probably is things that no longer align with your future. And it's really just that simple. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Swords again. Again, maybe you're realizing that you can't have something overnight. Knight of Swords, again, is rushing. And the Ten of Pentacles is something that is a process. Ten of Pentacles takes time to build. So we can't rush it. And just because we don't see it building like overnight doesn't mean that it isn't happening. It just means that things happen in their own time. And I do feel a lot of you could be realizing that. You could be realizing that, things happen over time, or that you have to give things time. And like I said, I think that's perfectly fine. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. And we have the Eight of Pentacles coming up on the other side of the Queen of Wands. So again, I like this because Eight of Pentacles is focused work. It's almost like you are changing and you are realizing that you just have to focus a little bit and, kind of draw your focus on work. And if you do that, things will work out well for you. And that's what I would do with that card. Next, in your present position, you have the Seduction card. It says, passionate and romance await. You have this Minstrel card. It says, let your intentions be known. Yes, if you meet a person and you like them, just admit it, is basically what this is saying. So there definitely could be a new connection, or you could be seducing a person into your life. I kind of feel it could be like an older person, someone who's older than you with the King of Swords. There could be some sort of age difference just in general in this connection. So if you're looking for love, it could be an older person. You have the Five of Cups, the Four of Wands, and the Queen of Wands, again, in your present position. The Five of Cups can say that maybe you've had, have regrets or sadness about past love connections, but he has two cups behind him. So when he changes his life, when he turns around and sees these two cups, he gets this bridge and this castle. So a lot of you might be in the process of releasing something from the past, like a past connection. But, I feel like there could be, clearly, there's something new that could be coming in for you. And it could be a Two of Cups. Like maybe you had a Three of Cups in the past, right? Maybe you were in some sort of third-party situation or whatever. But like this person here would be loyal. And so, because Two Cups, right? You also end with the Ace of Cups going in this direction. So Ace of Cups would be like a new love connection. It would be something that's very secure, stable, a person that's serious, all that other good stuff. You have the Four of Wands. So this person could want marriage or a commitment. The other thing that I'm getting here with that let your intentions be known card is like, I would just say what you want. I think people get in trouble with this in relationships where they don't tell the other person what they're actually looking for, and it creates these weird situations. I'm not saying that you should tell this person that you want to marry them on the first date. That's not what we're talking about. But if you want marriage and the topic comes up, then you should tell them, yes, I am looking for a person to marry. I just think there's, King of Swords is very direct and straight and to the point, right? So I think that's how you should be. If you meet a King of Swords person in the future, just be, I'm not saying it's just marriage. This could be other things as well. And I feel like it's saying, the whole reading is really saying that just being direct is going to be the best thing for you. I also feel that a lot of you are getting ready to complete a difficult journey. Six of Swords, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, clearly you've been through it, Sagittarius. This card is like a finish line card. We have to cross through this threshold right here, this finish line, and we have to go celebrate on the other side. This is going to sound lame, Sagittarius, but, I kind of feel like you are just doing a lot of, like, wrapping up things right now, just in general, in life. And, in a lot of ways, I do feel it's very good for you because I feel that wrapping things up is going to push you through this threshold so that you can go celebrate. And, again, I think that's going to be a good thing. You have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is going to be the best energy that you can embrace at this time. It's really funny. You also have the Queen of Cups. And I look at the Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups as somewhat similar. They're not similar, but they kind of allow themselves to be guided by the same thing. She uses the sunflower right here. The sunflower points towards the sun. So it points towards love, joy, peace, happiness, all the good things. And that's what she uses to guide her. The Queen of Cups follows her heart. So they both basically use desire, right? Even though they're kind of different energies, heart-based energy is usually desire or inspiration, and the Queen of Wands follows her inspiration. So, I kind of feel in a lot of ways you are being guided by your inspirations. The Queen of Wands is also an amazing card for the time that we're in. We are in a time where I believe we all have to learn as we go. It's just the time that we're in. We are in a completely different world, whether you realize it or not. And so there's a lot of learning that we all have to do. And anyone who's going to do anything important over the next 20 years, you're going to have no clue what to do when you get started. But the trick is to get comfortable with learning as you go. The trick is to learn and get comfortable with making mistakes as well. So, I think this would be a great energy for you to work with. With the Five of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune, change in your fortunes. The Five of Cups is unfortunate, and the Wheel of Fortune is your card, right? So you are showing up in a very strong position with the Wheel of Fortune. You've been getting this a lot with me recently, that you could be doing things to change your fortunes. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is an action. We have to double down on the good stuff, and we also have to take care of the challenges just as quickly in our life. And if we do that, we will change our fortunes. With the Four of Wands, you have the Ten of Cups. Amazing. This could be a person who wants a family, who wants to be married, or, whatever. Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty as well. And like I said, Six of Swords, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups is definitely a challenging energy for sure. So you've been through these challenges, and now there are some happy things that are happening for you. You also have the Ten of Pentacles right next to it. I love this combination because it's very positive. It can represent kind of like having it all. And so in a lot of ways, you will have it all in the future, Sagittarius. I think you could be building up to this. Do we ever truly have it all? Probably not. That would defeat the purpose of life. But I always say that working towards having it all is a worthy goal. And so I think everybody should live life like that. I think everybody should try their hardest to have it all. And again, your life will improve if you do that. So, there you go. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Ace of Cups again. So we have the Ace of Cups twice showing up in the reading. Ace of Cups is about flow. And we kind of said this with the Knight of Swords about forcing things to happen. And the Ace of Cups, that cup can reach down into the water below it and fill itself back up. So sure, yeah, this could be love, but I feel in your reading, this is more about not doing things that you don't want to do. And I know that sounds simpler than it actually is, because sometimes in life there are things that we just cannot avoid. Sometimes in life we have to do things we don't want to do. And, if there are certain obligations that you have, then, how can you make those things better? How can you get something out of it? I always say, life isn't perfect. We will always have to do things we don't want to do. But if you have to do something you don't want to do, how can you make it something better or more enjoyable? How can you enjoy the process more? All that stuff. Next, in your future position, you have this giraffe spirit. It says, see the big picture. You have this porcupine. It says, time for beginner mind. Yeah, the porcupine has its quills pointing backwards. And so if you are meeting a new person, I feel like you need to treat this as a completely new situation, is what this card is saying. The big picture card, I feel, is saying, what do you want? Like Ryan Gosling in that movie that I never remember. What do you want? What do you want? What do you really want out of life? The big picture card is saying you need to zoom out and look at your entire life. Look at the Ten of Pentacles. What would the perfect life look like for you? And then you need to say, do all these things I do in my life, does it fit that picture or not? And if it doesn't, then it's time to learn something new, or it's time to start something new with that time for beginner mind card. And that's what I would do there. You have the King of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. The King of Swords, again, could be a person who's older than you, a more mature person. So if you're attracting love, definitely could be a King of Swords. This is also an amazing card that says you have learned a lot. You have gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom over the years, and this could be helping you become very successful. The other thing about the King of Swords, I feel like you're very sharp in the future. I get this sharp feeling here where it's you are, he's the card of discernment. Let's put it that way. And I feel that as we move forward, into the summer, that your discernment is on point. Like what you see you in your head is very accurate. So I kind of just feel that you are going to be very good at reading every situation in your life. And I would trust that. It feels different than intuition. This is it could be partially intuitive, but I feel like this is more just, when things are going to work or not in all areas of life. And so I would really trust your discernment in the future. You have the Queen of Cups, again, following your heart, following your inner voice. She really values her heart. she's also very nurturing as well. And so she really, really takes care of the things that she cares about. And that is popping into my head. And especially with the Wheel of Fortune. Because again, with the Wheel of Fortune, we have to double down on the things that we want in life. And I definitely feel she is talking about you kind of nurturing things into existence, taking care of the things that you really care about. For some weird reason, by the way, Sagittarius, I have moving popping into my head as well with this card. So I read intuitively, but I know that this card doesn't represent moving, but I do feel like some of you, it's like, if you're looking for a place to move, I feel like your heart is set on something. And I feel like that's a good thing. Like, you should be trusting your heart as far as like a move is concerned. It's like maybe you're trying to choose between a couple of different places, but I would just, move towards the place that feels right. And yeah, I think you'll be happy that you did. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Again, Eight of Pentacles is like straightforward, diligent work. He is working on one thing, right? He's not doing 100 different projects at once. He is completing this one project, and then he is using that to be successful in the future. So I feel like your focus is going to be important as well going forward with this card here. It's like one path on this card. There aren't a bunch of paths going on here. So I think that you focusing on doing one thing and mastering your craft, this is a card of mastering your craft, will be a really good idea. The other thing is that the King of Swords is the master. This is the card of like the apprentice. So he is trying to master something. And I get that feeling for you, Sagittarius, where it's like if you're working on a project, a business, an idea, your health, literally could be anything. I feel that putting in just like a little bit extra effort to really master something is going to make all the difference in the world with this Eight of Pentacles. So, I would take your time. With the King of Swords, you have the Four of Swords, breath of fresh air. Telling you right now, if you're dating, I feel like one person is just going to be a breath of fresh air. That's really the feeling I get here. It's coming up in your future position as well. So, maybe you haven't met this person yet. Or if you're dating in the future, I feel like one person will really stand out. And I kind of feel this is saying, don't question it. The other thing is the Four of Swords can just represent generally needing to take a break, needing to rest, relax, recover. I feel the summer is going to be very busy. You will probably start to notice this energy at the end of May. So at the end of May, on the 26th, we have a new moon. And that is the first new moon that we are having after we have cleared all these retrogrades that we've been having. We've had, little new moons in between and everything like that after some of the other retrogrades. But, this is kind of like the first official one after that collection of retrogrades we've had since November. I think the summer is going to be very busy for people. I think people are going to have a lot going on. So if you need to take a break, take a break. If you need a rest, take a rest. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Two of Pentacles. Busy, told you. Two of Pentacles is work hard, play hard. He's not necessarily a bad card, but he definitely practices balancing the energy. If he's working hard, he's also playing hard. If he's playing hard, he's also working hard. So I would make sure that you're not burning yourself out with this card. Like I said, I think in the near future, like over the summer, you are going to have a lot going on. You need to balance that out. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Chariot. Damn. Charging towards some sort of victory here for you, Sag. I like this quite a bit for you. I think you could be finding a lot of success through charging towards a victory or towards having some sort of victory. So I like to see that. The Chariot could also be a move, which we talked about with the Eight of Pentacles. With the Queen of Cups. What I was going to say is with the Eight of Pentacles, I'm wondering if some of you, if like a move would be a little bit of a stretch. Like maybe you're saying to yourself, my heart is set on Florida, right? Or like this area of Florida, but I can't really afford it, so I'm going to live outside of the area. There's nothing really wrong with that, but I just think that the reading itself is saying like, well, you could raise your standards actually, and you could do things to make more money where you could more easily afford to move to where you really want to move towards. So I kind of feel a little bit of this energy that's saying like, don't settle. Like, yeah, maybe it would be a little bit of a stretch, but at the same time, I think you will make it happen. Chariot says where there's a will, there's a way. So if you're trying to do something, you will make it happen if you take control. The Chariot can also be a victory. So I do feel a lot of you could have some sort of victory coming in here. Next, in the area of your outcome, you have this changes card and this do nothing card. I feel like the do nothing card is the Knight of Swords. I feel like, it's saying don't force things to happen. Things that are meant to happen are just going to happen, as simple as that sounds. And definitely could be some positive changes. You have the Five of Wands, the Hangman, and the Ace of Cups. The Five of Wands can be conflict or competition. One thing I will say is that we are in a time where I think everyone should be looking at the competition. You should be looking at what you're doing, what you're not doing, what they're not doing, and you should be looking to fill in the gaps. There's a huge opportunity, I think, for people to stand out above the competition with actually very little work. If you look at the competition and you say, oh, they're not doing this, this, and this, I could do that and I could stand out. Right? It's like, what is your competitive advantage? And that's what the Five of Wands wants you to realize. Same thing in love as well. Like, if you want love, there might be a lot of competition or conflict going on in love, but it's like, what is your competitive advantage? What makes you special? And I feel like the Five of Wands is saying you need to, highlight those things in your life. You have the Hangman. The Hangman is about seeing things from a new perspective. We are literally in a time of new perspectives. We have Pluto in Aquarius. It is retrograding right now, but Pluto in Aquarius is innovative, and it makes us innovate things in our lives. Just plain and simple, right? It makes us come up with new ways of doing things. It makes us see the other side of things as well. And so I would be just embracing new ideas, new perspectives at this time. You have the Ace of Cups, which definitely could be like a love offer or like a new love connection coming in for you if you're into that sort of thing. So the Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy, and a lot of you could be receiving like a love offer or getting some sort of love offer in your life. So I would be opening up to love with the Ace of Cups. I would be doing things to, kind of like create more flow in your life. Again, the cup can easily reach down to the water below it and fill itself back up. With the Five of Wands, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is expansion and growth. It's also going in a new direction, right? He has these boats that are on the water here, and they are pointing out of the harbor. They are going somewhere he's never been before. And again, sometimes to set ourselves apart from the competition, we have to do things we've never done before. So I would do things that you've never done before, plain and simple. With the Hangman, you have the Queen of Swords. Love it. Queen of Swords, she only has clouds halfway up her body. She is looking into the future, and she's seeing things clearly for the first time. I kind of do feel that some of you could be seeing things like that no one else is seeing. But I'm not trying to be like mysterious here. I don't think this is a mysterious thing or anything. I think this could be like in work or business. Maybe there's competition, and maybe you are realizing that people are missing something, and because you notice it, you can take advantage of it and use it. With the Ace of Cups, you have the King of Swords again, so definitely could be a King of Swords type person that's coming in for you. These two are divine counterparts. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords as divine counterparts, but I kind of just feel this is a person you haven't met yet. So that's usually what I feel, is that the King and Queen of Swords can just be someone you haven't met. You have this career card. There could be a big focus on your career. I do kind of feel that for Sagittarius, that a lot of you could be focusing on career. I feel like maybe over the last year or so that some of you have either changed career, maybe you got laid off or fired or whatever, because it came up in the astrology for Sagittarius. We've definitely talked about it in the past. So a lot of you could be more career focused, and I think you're looking for a fulfilling career or a fulfilling way to make money, and a lot of you could be discovering that. You have this Nest card. It says an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups would be an emotionally secure, loving family. So a lot of you could be attracting a person that you have a family with, if that's what you want. I do feel like some of you could be attracting a person who already has a family, and they could become part of your family. So there you go. You have this basket. It says recognition, reward for merit. Yes, Chariot. Chariot is like a victory, but Chariot can definitely be you receiving recognition for the work that you're doing. I kind of feel like you need to pay attention to that as well. It's like sometimes in life, I feel like we don't realize we're good at something, and then a person might say to you, oh, you're really good at this, and it could be like something like a skill that becomes very important for you. You have this bird perched. It says waiting for news, package, or letter. I feel like there could be good news coming in for you if you're waiting for news. So, again, if you've been waiting for some sort of news, could be good news. You have this ram. It says a stubborn, aggressive person. Yeah, I would be careful of people like this, like people who just aren't flexible, people who aren't willing to see things from a new perspective with the hangman. But this could just be someone you have to avoid. But this looks very good, Sag. I like this a lot. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.